We got a lot to talk about with this episode. Dragon Ball Daima episode 10. This is my full breakdown and review, and I might have to do multiple videos on a lot of the topics in this video to give a full analysis and breakdown and my thoughts and theories, because this episode gave us a lot of information, a lot of new lore, a full history origins for like the multiverse, more of the God hierarchy, I would say. It's so much. So pretty much this episode resumed from the last episode. It starts off with Majin Cou and Dr. Arinsu going to go see Tamagami 1, who is probably the strongest out of the Tamagamis, and they're pretty much going to go see Majin Cou in action. So at this point, Majin Cou is starting off the battle kind of wacky, kind of giving me a lot of Kid Buu vibes. Just the only difference is he's not winning the battle. He's pretty much not strong enough. A lot of his attacks is not working on the Tamagami, but he's definitely showing off a lot of cool, abilities and powers, but none of them are effective. Eventually he decides to give up and say he can't win, and usually, you're able to just give up against the Tamagami. They're not evil, so they're not just going to destroy you once you start the battle. If you give up, they pretty much would just decide to, let you be on your way. So after that happened, they ended up just kind of like leaving, and Dr. Rinsu was kind of disappointed in this. Now, of course, we fast forward back to Goku and the others. They're pretty much traveling in Demon Realm number 2. Now, at this point, it's kind of like the Demon Realm is how they created the most, like, I guess I could say the universe for the Demon Realm. It's like, it feels like they're on a planet because they have a giant ocean under them, and at this point they kind of reveal about the Krakens or whatever they want to call it, that they live in the ocean, and if you fly too low they would come and try to eat you and swallow you whole. So we do get to see these creatures come out and try to swallow Goku and them. But before this happens, of course, we have them being attacked by more of Goma's men that end up tracking them down, and Goku ends up flying out of there and taking them all on his own and destroying their ship. But shortly after, their ship is kind of damaged and they're flying a little bit low, and now this creature comes out from the ocean and decides to try to swallow them. Now at this point, everyone is getting off the ship, but Pansy decides to go back in to get something, and Goku goes in to save her, and eventually they end up saving each other. And at this point, I guess she went back to go save the Dragon Ball. Now, Goma's getting upset and telling him to have all his men come to Demon Realm number 1, I guess for protection. And then also, at this point, they're saying they're going to go to the Namekian homeworld at this point. So pretty much it's a planet that looks just like Namek, but unfortunately, a lot of the Namekians already left, so no one is really there. So everything looked kind of like, like a wasteland and just left untouched. So at this point, they decide, Goku senses Vegeta and them saying they're nearby, and he's gonna go try to bring them over to where they're at. And at this point, Goku flies and he meets up Vegeta, Bulma, and Piccolo and Hybis. And at this point, Goku is pretty much revealing to them about the Kraken, and Vegeta's telling him like he's acting scary, but then the monster comes out from under the water and decides to almost try to eat their ship at this point, and luckily they escape. At this point, now they arrive to this the Namekian homeworld, and at this point they present to ask questions when they find out Bulma hears Supreme Kai's real name, Nahari. And at this point they're asking like more of the origins of about his homeworld. He explains that their homeworld and the Namekian homeworld is in that universe, but they're like different planets that's floating in the sky that they can go to. And pretty much he gives them a history about why they left and what happened. So pretty much he's saying at one point the good Supreme Demon King that was there at that point, he decided to expand the universe. So he decided to find a Supreme Majin who pretty much was going to go to the outside world and create the whole multiverse. And he's still around as the highest God order. And at this point, he decides to get a couple of Glens and turn them to Supreme Kais to watch over those different universes. And they kind of give us a little bit of glimpse of some of the people we see in Dragon Ball Super, some of the other Kais from the other universes that we're familiar with. So this definitely gives us, a little bit more backstory to that. Now, this raises a lot of questions, because now I was wondering, with this other Majin named Remus or Rimus, however his name is, he's the one that created this multiverse. And now we're wondering, where does Zeno fit into this? Now, mind you, I'm going to do a breakdown video on this specifically, in saying who was Zeno, who was Rimus, and who could he possibly be in connection to Zeno. And there's still a lot of questions, because a lot of people always figure, Zeno acts like a child, like a little baby, that, the Grand Priest is the one that's watching over him. So my theory is possible. It's a couple theories already. It's possible with Remus or Rimus, however you pronounce his name, he could possibly be, the father of Zeno. And that could be a possibility there. Or it could just be something totally different, where, we have Remus as the one for the Kais, and Zeno the Supreme Order for the Goddess of Destructions, and then having his attendants, which is the Grand Priest, who comes in with the angels, which that's a whole nother thing. So we're going to do a full breakdown on the topic for that one on another video. But those are just like some simple theories I'm giving up right now, what that could possibly mean. But it just definitely made everything a lot more interesting. And even then, if you look back at Dragon Ball Super, when Goku asks about the Grand Priest, and pretty much Whis is telling them that the Grand Priest is in the top 5 strongest people, now we might have some names to pretty much start narrowing things down. Because if we have the Grand Priest in the top 5, we have some other powerful people that we still haven't seen, of course. Now, if you want to count Zeno in that top 5, that will leave 3 spaces for 3 more people. And of course, some people may, suspect Zalama, the dragon god who created Super Dragon Balls, and who could possibly be a Namekian as well, which I hope we get something about him maybe in this, but then again, they probably wouldn't have asked questions about it in Dragon Ball Super, so I don't think we're going to really get any information really like that pertaining to him. Maybe to the characters like Goku and Vegeta, or those characters, but it's possible maybe we may hear something about him through other characters who probably speak on him. Maybe somebody like Neva. Now, we have Zalama as one of those choices of one of those top 5 strongest people, and that will make 3 people. That'll still leave 2 slots. So now we probably may have, Remus as another person that's in that, category for the top 5. Now, if we want to put, this Supreme Demon King as one of the people in that top 5, that's possible as well. But I doubt it, because they're going to probably count people that's within that multiverse, probably not counting the people of the Demon Realm. So that might not be something that they want to count, really. So we still don't know exactly who may be in that other spot. But like I said, maybe that person may be the father of Zeno as well, who created Zeno. So we still don't really know. But this definitely opened up room for a lot more questions to be, asked, and more questions that need to be answered, and made things a lot more interesting in seeing that. So after, he explains their story, he kind of explains that, Goku kind of mentions that the Supreme Kai was born from a tree, and he goes on to explain that those 5 Glen trees, they're pretty much died out. So you could kind of say that the Kais or the Glens are pretty much going extinct right now, and pretty much the ones that's in the other universes at that, they're probably the only ones that's still around, so that's something that is kind of new information a little bit to us. So at this point, they decide to pretty much get going to go fight the Tamagami, and at this point, when they're leaving, you see Neva shows up laughing, been watching and laughing at everything. So maybe he heard something, or possibly, there's still something up his sleeve, I feel like, that we're not done seeing with Neva yet. So it's a big possibility that we're going to probably see a lot more. It's a possibility that I think that when they collect all the Dragon Balls, that never may be the one to show up and use the Dragon Balls and wish for himself to be back in his useful state. And judging from how much power he has, we may end up getting him as the ultimate, person that they have to defeat or try to take control of the demon realm. So that is a big possibility when it comes to all that. So who knows? But overall, the next time on the episode, we see they don't really show too much. But I know one thing is that we're definitely getting the pace to pick up on this series, and that we're going to pretty much be able to, start seeing things start getting close to like the conclusion of all this arc that we have about the demon realm and everything coming to a close. And like I said, so far I've been loving all the new lore and information that they've been providing in this series, and I just want to see how all this is going to play out in the future of Dragon Ball Super when that returns. So hopefully we get something that's going to be like a even bigger connection to Dragon Ball Super that may connect the story dealing with the universe and the demon realm and all this world building, type of stuff that we're getting to see. So definitely it'll be all interesting, and also we get a lot of funny moments in the episode that I did skip over. We get Hybis trying to hit on Bulma, saying that he wants Bulma to be his girlfriend, and Vegeta's like, that's his wife, and Hybis is saying he don't mind. And then, he start, ranking on Vegeta's hair, saying he got ugly hair, which has always been a running joke from, I think, Toriyama had in the past. And at this point, Bulma decides she don't want to, grow old. She want to stay as a kid. And like I said, we're kind of seeing little hints of probably why she started using the Dragon Ball to wish herself younger, to keep herself looking young and trying to keep it subtle. And we're also seeing Vegeta saying, he's waiting for a wish back for both of them. So Hybis is telling him that, he like girls with big boobs, and Vegeta is like, getting like, mad and upset, and Piccolo is like, it could be kind of true. That's why he's getting mad. So, that was a real funny moment. And like I said, nothing beats the humor of Akira Toriyama, because he's just, like I said, you see the difference even for a story where a lot of people were kind of skeptical at first, thinking it was going to be another Dragon Ball GT, and to see how fun and interesting this story, creating that adventure feel the right way. And I feel like if Akira Toriyama was really deeply involved with Dragon Ball GT, he would have definitely kind of made it the same as Dragon Ball Daima, with only his touch he can put on it. They try to replicate. He gave them an outline, but they just can't. Some things you just can't replicate from Akira Toriyama, and that's one thing that will always make him miss when it comes to, the future of Dragon Ball. So it's gonna be kind of hard to just really get his feel, his humor, everything, like action and everything. That is just the way everything gets put together at first. Sometimes the things may not make sense, but once it's all put together, it started turning into a masterpiece. So this is something that he'll truly be missed on when it comes to, the future of Dragon Ball. And hopefully he left behind a lot of notes and things that they can adapt, that we get a lot of work from him to still keep his essence alive in the Dragon Ball, universe. But that's it for this episode breakdown. Like I said, I'm waiting for episode 11, and you should definitely go check out this episode if you haven't. A lot of stuff I left out, because I'm going to pretty much, like I said, a lot of these topics I'm going to go into a deeper breakdown when it comes to this topic and everything like that. So just be prepared, because it's coming right now. So